This is Andrew Craig from the Olympian newspaper of Castro Valley High School. I'm here with Congressman Eric Swalwell at the final town hall meeting of 2018 for the 15th Congressional District. Thanks for being with us, Congressman.
Thanks, Andrew, and thank you to the Olympian and your readers.
So first, how do you feel about the results of the 2018 elections?
Well, the American people, I think, very loudly said that they want a Congress that focuses on protecting health care, protecting paychecks from, going to the wealthiest Americans at the top who get tax cuts and everyone else works to pay for those, and protecting our democracy by putting a balance of power on abuses of power. And so they want us to collaborate where we can in a new Congress on infrastructure, on health care, on background checks, on the DREAM Act, and they also want us to investigate where Republicans weren't willing to, and that's what they can expect they'll see in a Democratic majority in the House of Representatives.
What will be your greatest legislative priority in the new Congress?
Mine personally is going to be to advance the Protecting Our Democracy Act, which I wrote immediately after the Russia interference campaign. It will take an independent commission outside of Congress to look at what Russia did and what other adversaries could do to undermine our democracy. It has bipartisan support right now, but it never got a vote under Speaker Ryan. And so we hope it gets a vote early and we show that we can, in a nonpartisan way, put elders and statespersons and experts on the task of looking at what happened, how we can prevent it from happening again, and securing our democracy.
What investigation would you like to tackle first, and who would you like to subpoena first?
Well, I'd like to focus on the Russia investigation and fill in the gaps where we can. I'd like to bring in to the Judiciary Committee Acting Attorney General Matt Whitaker to understand, if he's going to allow the Russia investigation under Special Counsel Mueller to continue, but also want to look at, where the president has cashed in on access to the Oval Office by getting a hold of his tax returns, looking at whether his financial interests are driving domestic and foreign policy, and then intervening where we can to protect the American worker.
Now, as an advocate of the vote, what are our options for improving voting technology, whether it be through technology, reliability, or access?
I would like to see us have online voting on your mobile device. And I know after the Russian attack, people sometimes suggest maybe we should dip our thumbs in ink and go back in time to secure it. I actually think we should see this as an opportunity to convene the best and brightest minds in digital security and come up with a way for us to use, whether it's blockchain technology or a secure way to vote and have an audit, but to make it more accessible, get rid of a lot of the suppression that we've seen. The first bill that's going to be passed in the new House is going to be H.R. 1, which is going to be an update to the Voting Rights Act, which will make sure that more people are able to vote, and also to have a national motor registration law where if you get a driver license, you're automatically enrolled to vote.
Now, speaking of the vote, if you were to run for president, what would your plan be to unite us as a country?
Well, I have grown up as the son of two Republicans. I married a Hoosier from Indiana who grew up with the Pences, so most of my life, whether it's passing dessert at the Thanksgiving table or just seeing my in-laws, has meant talking to and working with Republicans. I did that in my first 4 years in Congress. I passed bills as a minority member in Congress, got them signed by the president because I had relationships with Republicans. This president has challenged all of us, but the country's going to need to heal, and I think the next president of the United States is going to have to unite us, and one way that I would seek to do that would be to put forward consensus items that Republicans and Democrats believe in. I think that's finding cures in our lifetime when it comes to health care, and trying to depoliticize healthcare solutions by looking rather at investments and cures. That also looks at investing in greening the grid. So rather than having arguments about climate change, doing what we can to invest in renewables and not have to have a family decide whether they're pitting their job against clean air and clean water. And also, finding consensus items on, making sure that small businesses can thrive. I wrote a bill called the Main Street Revival Act, which would allow any business in an economically depressed area to defer their taxes for the first couple of years so they can get up and off the ground. And that's a pro-business agenda, and I think Republicans could get behind that. And also, I think the next president should put Republicans in their cabinet and show the American people that we're going to heal together and climb out of this together. And that's something that if I ran and was elected, is something I'd do.
Are there any plans to continue or expand the Future Forum program?
Yeah, we added 27 members, and I'm not even the youngest by a long shot. We've got two 29-year-olds, a couple people in their early 30s. Yesterday we elected the new chair, Stephanie Murphy, an amazing American story. She was a refugee from Vietnam, came to the United States, worked at the Department of Defense, and now is a member of Congress in the Orlando area. And so she's going to lead the Future Forum. And I didn't want to do it forever. I wanted to make sure that just as I talk about seeing a transformation of leadership in Congress, I wanted to see a transformation of leadership in a group that I started, and show that I'm willing to hand it off and allow others to put their best ideas forward.
Well, lastly, what would you hope to receive for Christmas this year?
Well, I've got two kids, Nelson and Cricket, and so at this point, you just, I think, live for your kids, and so hopefully the first words of my son would be the best Christmas gift. He's close. He says hot and bye and this and stop, but maybe putting a couple of those together. That would be a great Christmas gift. It would make my wife stop worrying about whether he's going to talk or not.